Welcome into the Unwritten Rule Podcast, your number one stop shop for all sports and media news. I'm your host, Monzi, and today I will be breaking down previewing the Tulane and Oklahoma game. I will be in attendance for this game on Saturday at 2 o'clock. It should be a good game. Starting off, though, I do want to say this. I got done this morning watching Tulane and K-State play. Just rewatched the game, wanted to see about it, and I hate to say it, folks, but Tulane is very similar, or if not, how we would want Oklahoma to look. I mean, they're not too different of teams. Obviously, we haven't got to see Oklahoma be their normal selves yet. Offensively, I believe on third down, we are 4 of 25 in the past 2 games. We can't get anything going. We don't have any rhythm going with our inexperienced quarterback starting out, and we also don't have anything going on offense with our inexperienced offensive coordinator. And that's fine. It's early in the season. Those things can be fixed. But like I said, Tulane looks very much like Oklahoma. It doesn't look too far apart. They have a quarterback that's inexperienced. This is his first season starting. He's a redshirt freshman. The Mensa guy, he can throw the ball. They have a first-year head coach. I mean, he has those players looking like a team that should be a top 25 team, the way they look. And based off of how I watched week 2 college football and I seen those teams play, I arguably would put them in the top 25, even though they lost. But they do look like a legitimate top 25 team. Offensively, the quarterback, he is good, like I said. He is able to make plays inside and outside of the pocket. I do believe that he will be able to make some plays downfield whenever they take shots. You cannot run man coverage against this team. They exposed Kansas State for that. And Oklahoma should know better with that because we had that problem a long time ago when we went against Texas, and Texas is doing drags and crossers and posts from one side of the football field to the next side of the football field, and there's no pressure on the quarterback. So if we're able to not be in man coverage and make plays in zone and stay aware and actually stay in our drops, I think we'll do good against the pass. They do run play action. They will roll the quarterback out. It's really it legitimately looks like an Oklahoma offense. It looks how we want it to look. Like how we want ours to look is exactly how theirs looks in every aspect. They just don't have the caliber of players that we have. And I think that's our advantage in this football game. If they did have the caliber of players that we have at Oklahoma, I think Oklahoma would lose this, regardless if it's at home or away. I think Tulane would lose this. But Tulane is good. They have a running back in Hughes. He looks pretty good. Their offensive line, they're solid. They're not too extravagant. I'm not going to say they're like the most athletic group of offensive linemen you could find, but they are a good offensive lineman. They give a quarterback enough time to throw the ball. For Tulane, defensively, their defense almost looks like a Brent Venables defense when he was at Clemson. I mean, rushing 5 guys with the stunts, playing man coverage on the back end, just ready to rally and make a tackle. They were accepting those type of things. They look pretty good on defense. They're not too worried about, matching their guys up against anybody. And then secondary-wise, their secondary is all right. I did see in the game that one of their corners, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the game to my left, but I did see that one of their corners got hurdled. But aside from like coverage issues and stuff like that, I don't think that you'll see that much. Back to the offense on the quarterback of Tulane, the Mensa guy. Mensa did cost the team at the end of the game. Like I said, he is a redshirt freshman. This is his that game against Kansas State was his second game ever starting. He made a mistake. He pulled a Jalen Hurts, fumbled the ball. I don't think I think he'll learn from it, and I think that he will come out and try to play against Oklahoma. And I believe that all the players at Tulane are going to come out there ready to play. I don't think it will be that type of football game to where you're going to have to be questioning the other team. just have it in your mind, Oklahoma, that Tulane is coming out to play football. And they did all that hard work against Kansas State. With that being said, against Kansas State, that's a good team. That's not Oklahoma. But now they're going against Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure they want this win against Oklahoma a bit more than they wanted it against Kansas State. And they were up 20-10 at halftime against Kansas State. They lost that game themselves. A couple mistakes, but like I said, they don't have the caliber of players yet. They have a first-time head coach. I think if they clean their football game up, they will be in a close football game against Oklahoma. Their game plans are great, and they're a good football team. I mean, on a kickoff return, for example, I seen one of their players get hit on a kickoff return. Eight of their players went over there and helped pick the guy up. The guy wasn't even hurt. They were just making sure that their guy was good. So that's how much of a team they are. So I wouldn't question them on any aspect of being a team. Now, moving on, I kind of want to compare the coaches, and I want to bring this to the light. So we got Brent Venables in his third season. He's done a pretty good job. I'm not going to say it's below average. I'm not going to say it's average. He's just done a decent job at head coach, given the factors that he had to deal with coming in after a COVID year and all that stuff. I mean, it's kind of rough to recruit. Then you had to deal with some NIL stuff, so it made it a little tougher to recruit. But he's done a good job. In-game coaching wise, he has a lot to learn, but he's still young. He's still young in his head coaching tenure, specifically, and so I think he'll be able to clean some stuff up. He's going against a first-year head coach, and I don't know the coach's last name at Tulane, but his name is John. And I just want to say this and bring this to the light. If this first-year head coach game plan if this first-year head coach is able to have his game plan and his players able to play to the level of Oklahoma, I mean, I'm going to start questioning Brent Venables' pregame, his game plans, as he's getting ready for the games. So, I mean, that's something I really want to look at and look into as this game plays out. Obviously, I'll be at the game, so I probably have to rewatch the game on television when I get home on YouTube. But I will be watching the game in person. I do want to make sure that Brent Venables' game plan is a level higher or much higher than what a first-year head coach in Tulane has. So I'm really looking into that. And also with Seth Littrell, I'm looking for his offensive game plan to be able to be so good that it puts us in better situations throughout all positions on the field. I mean, the game plan last week wasn't good for the offensive linemen. It wasn't good for the receivers. It wasn't good for the running backs. And it wasn't good for the quarterback, as we all know. So I really want to look into those things. I hope that Littrell has a game plan that just makes everything flow and be in rhythm. We don't need slow play action plays. We don't need to take our time with stuff. We need to get this stuff going early. Defensively, Oklahoma is going to have to be able to rush the quarterback. I don't think that we'll be able to win this football game without rushing the quarterback. I'm not saying play your whole defensive playbook. And obviously you have Tennessee next week, so you don't want to play all your cards. And I also want that to be known for offense too. Seth Littrell, do not play all your cards. But do not play any type of game plan that's going to make us be in the position to lose a football game, especially at home. And we don't really want to see a close football game in this, but you have to respect that Tulane is a good football team. The secondary, Tulane has receivers. The receivers remind me of UCF last year. We struggled against those guys, especially against Javon Baker, who now plays for the New England Patriots. So we struggled against him. Hopefully we don't do that this game. I don't want to see us struggling against no type of receiver. They do have receivers. They do make plays. One of the receivers was an Oklahoma receiver under Lincoln Riley and Mario Williams. So Mario Williams in space, he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to say he's an Antonio Brown, but his traits are similar to an Antonio Brown, to a Zay Flowers. That's the size. That's his archetype. I'm not saying he's that level or caliber player whatsoever. That's just his archetype. That's what he reminds me of. But I think defense will be all right. Special teams, both special teams are going to be good. I'm not worried about the special teams. I don't think anything will go crazy, bust out. I think the field goals will get those going. Back to the quarterback, though. Arnold, you were inaccurate last game. I don't blame you. Like I said, I do feel like Seth Luttrell has to build some type of rhythm with you. And hopefully you and Seth Luttrell got to have a sit down and just figure out more things that you like. Or you probably already been doing that and we're just, I'm not saying we're panicking, but a lot of people are just a little too panicky about it. But I do believe that Arnold will shape up and he will be the best quarterback in that game on Saturday. I do think that he will outperform Mensah, and I do think Mensah has a much harder role since he's on the road than what Arnold does. But I just need to see Arnold with some rhythm, and I think a great thing that Arnold can do and Seth Luttrell can do for this football game is have Arnold run the ball. You have to have Arnold run the ball. I would like to see Sawchuk out there running the ball. The run game needs to be established in this football game. I don't think we need to keep waiting any longer for the run game to be established. Last year, we played around with the running backs. Let's not do it this season. We understand that Gavin Sawchuk should be the starting running back and should be having most of the carries. And Javonte Barnes is that 1-2 punch. And if you want to throw Hicks out there, I'm okay if you want to throw Hicks out there too after Barnes. But we need to see that 1-2 punch out of Gavin Sawchuk and Javonte Barnes. And then I would also love to see Arnold able to make plays with his legs. And Arnold does a good job running. He runs in space. And most of the time, he also tries to run near the sideline. So I'm not worried about any injuries for him. He's been running pretty much his whole high school career at Denton Guyer. So I think Oklahoma has a good chance in this football game. I don't think Oklahoma covers the 14-point spread. And I think the spread might have went a little higher by Vegas, but I don't think Oklahoma covers that. I do think this would probably be like a 10-point ball game. Oklahoma wins late in the fourth quarter. Maybe in the third quarter, we take a nice lead, and then Tulane just can't put any offense together. But we shall see. It doesn't matter if you're up 14 against this football team that Tulane has. They are still going to be playing you. They're going to play you from the start to the end. So this is almost like a play-by-play type of game. You can't even go off of quarters. You got to do this play-by-play, minute-by-minute, because they are trying to play some smash-mouth football. They got guys who are not afraid of Oklahoma at all. They weren't afraid of Kansas State last week, even though they were at home. And I don't think they'll be scared of Oklahoma. I think they'll be even more, greedier to win a football game, especially after they lost off of some fluke stuff, quarterback fumbled the ball. But they will come out there and they will be looking to put Oklahoma in that bag. And for a first-year head coach, I'm pretty sure he'll sell it all for this football game. So Brent Venables and the coaching staff, I hope they have a great, legitimate game plan ready. I'm not too worried about the defense against the run, but there needs to be a legitimate offensive game plan that puts up points every single drive. I don't really want to see any punting from us unless we're in a bad field position and we just probably had a penalty that couldn't make us go down the field. If it's something like that, I'm okay with it. But I need to see some type of rhythm out of the offense. I don't care who it's from. If it's some misdirection plays, do it. But O-line needs to get nasty. They're going to have to get more physical, and they're going to have to be able to get out in space and block, apparently. And that's fine with me. That's how we need our offensive line to be. But I need to see a lot more out of the offense. I didn't think the defense did anything wrong last week. I felt like that was majority on the blame on the offense. Offense had the defense on the field too much, and that's why you get what you get. But that's all for me, folks. I wish y'all nothing but the best. And Boomer, we'll see how Saturday plays out.